I can move this stuff if you need me to.
Oh no, it's good.
All right.
I'm just trying to. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Good morning, Off the Bench Sports family. We're here live with a very special guest, guy that I'm glad to be in the company of. The Dunham School Tigers head coach, Johnathon Pixley. How's it going this morning, Coach?
It's going great, Grayson. I appreciate you having me.
Oh, no doubt, man. I'm like I said, I'm really honored to be here. We tried to get this done a couple of times last year. Things didn't work out, so we're here right now. So like we always do, I'm gonna ask you to give the Off the Bench Sports family a little bio, a little history about Johnathon Pixley, the man and the coach.
Well, I went to high school at Catholic High here in town in Baton Rouge. Obviously played basketball there. We had a nice run my senior year. Then I was fortunate enough to earn a scholarship to play at the Division I level at Samford University for Coach John Brady, who promised me that we would play LSU if I went, and we did my senior year, and we came down here and beat them, and then lo and behold, he got the job the next year.
Wow.
Had an opportunity to bounce around, worked out with the Spurs in LA and Atlanta, and went out to the Summer League in LA and ripped my knee to shreds for the second time, and was told by Dr. Griffith here in town that unless I found a league that you could practice once a week and play once a week and get paid for, that you were done. And so I knew I was done. And so here I am. I've been here 18 years. Have had a great run. Have gone through the different phases of building a program, and it kind of culminated last year with a state championship that we've been working hard for a long time now. So from a basketball standpoint, that's where I am. I'm married to Donna Pixley, who's the head volleyball coach here. And I have two daughters who go here, Hannah and Kaylin, who both play volleyball as well. My wife and I we're the directors at Team Sportsplex here in town, which is a multi-court facility that, just another gym for us to be in, if we're not here.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and stamp this. Your daughter is one hell of a volleyball player. I got to watch her a couple of times during volleyball season. Wife is a hell of a coach. You guys have put together a great little sports package there as a family. So congratulations.
Appreciate that.
From that aspect. Yeah. It's very rare that you see a husband and wife, both coaches and both very embedded in what they're doing. Both of you guys put 100% into your craft.
Well, appreciate it. It brings its challenges for sure, but we are rewarded by being around these young people. And, our oldest daughter, Hannah, you just mentioned, it's not out yet, I don't think, publicly, but she was unanimously voted the MVP of our district. And so it's a big honor for her. Right. And I think she'll have some more accolades coming this year. So.
Right. You want to give out the secret to where she's going right now?
Well, we don't know. We really don't. When she lets us know, we'll let you know.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate that. Because, I always got to try.
No doubt.
I'm always trying.
Shoot, so you'll probably know before I will. So.
So this is where we are right here, right now. Again, as you just stated, you've been here 18 years. You've had the opportunity to coach some really fantastic kids. Tell us about some of the past players that you coached that touch your heart.
I don't want to leave anybody out, so that's hard to do. But you start back. I just start thinking of senior classes. David Fleshman was a really special player for us. My first senior class was Mitchell Haynes and Mark Corcoran and Nathan Dyer and Amari McIntyre. And then Fleshman was the next year. Tim Smith was after that. Kerry Koch, who went on and played professional football, was really special. And those teams kind of built and set the foundation for where we are today. And then you had Dantrell Butler, Jasper Kane, Kyle Blanchard. And then when we really started to turn a corner, TJ Honore, who was one of my assistant coaches, his son came and played for us. Jonathan Honore was a really, really good point guard for us. Went on and played college basketball. And Zach Padgett went on and signed at Central Arkansas. And then Quentin Thomas, who's currently at Southeastern. And then really over the last few years, I mean, when a kid like Jordan Wright shows up on your campus, it changes everything. And now all of a sudden you start winning championships, and now you're getting told what a great coach you are. And it's, you know, I probably had to do more coaching back then than I do now. But Jordan is a really, really special talent. We know that, and then we have current kids who, new faces to the program, and Deshaun Woods and Carlos Stewart. Ty Spurlock's been here, it seems like 100 years. He's finally a senior. Ralph Davenport came to us last year. So we've got a really good group right now. But had a senior last year, Mason Bourgeois, and a year before, Travis Myers and a couple other guys who, those guys played in the state finals, learned what it was like to get there. You took baby steps. We got drawn by Country Day that year.
Right. Got
to come back last year. Mason is a senior, and Otis Walker, who signed with Stephen F. Austin, who's playing a lot of minutes for them right now as a freshman. So I could go on, and I know I'm rambling right now. I'll ramble about my guys all day.
I want you to tell your story. So we're still in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the best guys you've coached against.
Best guys I've coached against. First one that comes to mind, God rest his soul, Wade Sims.
Right.
And with AAU and with the Nike circuit and different things, we had the benefit of coaching those kids as well. So Skylar Mays, Wade Sims, Adriel Bailey, who's playing at Arkansas right now. How many Riverside kids can I name? Right.
1,000.
Whoever played at Riverside,
Right.
we count them for sure. Brian Bridgewater was at Episcopal whenever we were fortunate enough to play against those guys.
He was a monster.
Yeah, absolutely. At the high school level. There's a lot of kids. It's a ton of kids, but those are probably the ones that stick out right off the bat.
Right. Okay, so let's go right here. I want you to tell us about your experience on this. You got to coach on the Nike EYBL circuit.
Yeah.
You guys were a major force for some years. How was that experience for you, and would you go back to it?
Miserable. I would never do it again, to be honest with you. Outside of the kids, I love the kids, okay?
Right.
But when we stepped away from it and gave Nike the contract back, which I know is, everybody thinks, oh, they took it back from us. And anyhow, I won't even get into all that. But when we very willingly gave it away, it was 6 months later than I wanted to. I wanted to give it up earlier. And the reason why is I feel like that whole idea, the circuit, and you're seeing some of this stuff come out now in these programs and
Right.
some of the ramifications they're going into. I feel like they're prostituting those kids, and I don't like it. I think it is, it takes away from the purity of the game. And I wish it could go back to, back in our day when AAU actually meant something. And,
Right.
If you wanted to go to nationals, you had to be in the top 2 teams in the state, and
Right.
all the coaches were there. But I get it. Look, change is good. I don't think that this change has been good. I would never go back and do it again, ever.
Right.
If we're going to revive our Red Storm program, and Chase Stanley's going to be the director of it this year, but we're going to revive it only in the middle school because we want to help kids that age who still think they don't know everything, and the parents hopefully don't think they know everything, and so we can build something there. But I know that that's very candid, but knowing me like you do, that's the only way I know how to speak about it.
Right.
I don't think it's a good thing. The exposure is fantastic, but all the strings attached to it are terrible.
I got to experience the circuit this past summer with my son.
Yeah.
Wasn't EYBL, but it was definitely very competitive. Like I said, it's very political.
Yes.
You have to know some people.
Sure.
To no matter how good your child does, you still have to know some people.
Sure.
For your child to get someone knocking at his door.
No doubt.
And so again, I'm gonna keep my comments on that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it later, but
sure. Look, and you are going to play the best players in the country.
Right.
Okay, so you can't argue with that, and you're going to get seen by everybody there is to be seen by. It's just, in all honesty, what are you willing to do behind the scenes to get some of these kids to buy into what you're doing? And we were just unwilling to do it.
Right.
We're just not going that route, and I told them up front that we weren't going to go that route. I'm not sure that they believed me, but it's just part of the deal.
Red Storm, multi-usage facility,
Mm-hmm.
volleyball, basketball. You guys have shooting machines and the very finest technology that money can buy. How'd that come about?
Crazy story. So I used to, my second year here, I began a lesson business. So I would do group lessons and private lessons and whatnot. And then that turned into our Red Storm AAU program, where I never had tryouts for AAU. I took the kids who did lessons with me and offered them an opportunity to apply those lessons in a competitive situation. So, it wasn't a matter of me going out and getting kids. I just took, and we took our lumps early on because we didn't have a lot of talent, but those kids got better. Right. And that was the idea behind it. And so, met a good friend of mine named Jim Barnhart, who I didn't even know who he was when I first met him. He'll tell you the story because I lived in a gym, right? He drops his kid off, Ben, at 9 years old. I only work with 10-year-olds. Dana had called me, said, "Hey, will you work with him even though he's 9?" I said, "Yeah, bring him by, we'll give him a look." Jim comes and introduces himself to me, and I say, "Yeah, absolutely, we'll give it a look." And the people behind me, the moms who were there with their other kids, are like, "Oh, wow, you're in a different level now." And I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "You don't know who that is?" I said, "I got no idea who that is, right?" Well, 2 years later, he had a conversation with me. He said, "What's your goal with all this?" And I said, "Well, me and my wife would like to build a facility, single court facility, metal building, just to cut the costs, but to where we don't have to use Dunham, who was generous enough to let us use the facility, to build a business." And about a year later, almost to that date, he came in and said, "Here's how we're going to do it." And he laid out the plans, and now we're a 3-court facility.
Right.
And so it's an amazing blessing that just happened.
And it's also an amazing facility. You guys host several camps there throughout the year.
Yeah.
I know Prep Hoops has their camp there every year, and a few other organizations or entities. Y'all do a lot of volleyball stuff there.
Ooh, yeah, it's grown a lot.
You guys also have I don't know the correct terminology for the travel volleyball squad, but
Club volleyball.
Yeah, you guys do club volleyball. I know several people that play within the clubs, and they boast heavily about how good they do. So, amazing things that you've done here. Let's come full circle.
Mm-hmm.
Dunham, 2018, March 5th. I'm sorry. We're gonna put the cart before the horse if we do that.
Okay, sure.
Tell us about the start of the 2017-18 season for you guys, and what your initial team goals were.
Sure. Well, we had a couple guys who decided not to return and play that were key contributors the year before, so we were a little thin on numbers. But Otis Walker was able to come over here for his senior year. Had been trying to come since his sophomore year, but different variables, didn't allow him to do it, and I didn't even realize that at the time until I got the whole story when he came as a senior. But obviously a very talented kid. So we knew that we had been to the state finals the year before. We hadn't played well, and the results showed that, obviously. But we thought that we had a chance to get back there and be better because of our experience the year before. So the goal was, we got to get back and at least see where we are.
Okay?
Right. We knew Riverside was the team to beat, and we wanted to play them because ultimately you got to measure yourself against the best.
Right.
And so the beginning of the season was very, very intriguing because we go down to Lake Charles and play in that tournament, get down 20 to Washington Marion, come back and beat them in the second half, get down 20 to Peabody, come back and beat them in the second half. Right. So we at that point, and I remember TJ even telling me after the Peabody game, he goes, "Look, I don't know how this is going to finish, but this team's got something special." Right. And then we kind of carried it out throughout the year.
I got to see those games in Lake Charles, showdown at the lake. Shout out to Coach Dexter.
Yep.
Washington. I'll be up there to see you in about 3 hours. It was a really phenomenal tournament. A lot of good stuff happened throughout the course of it. Skylandville goes on ahead to win it. Of course, best player in the state, Gatorade Player of the Year. Javonte Smart ends up being the overall MVP. You guys come out of that. What are you thinking next?
So we're thinking we got to get everybody healthy and back. See, we went. I think our record last year was 26-7. Okay, but we didn't lose a game when I had all 6 of my top guys.
Right.
Okay, we did not lose. And so I figured if we could get, because Sal Wilson didn't play in that tournament, if we get everybody healthy, I just want to see where we're at. And during the course of the season, we got to see several different instances where we saw how good we could be. You know, we put Madison Prep here. We're able to beat them in overtime. Very, very good team. And they were shorthanded. I know LeBlanc didn't play that game, but they were still really good.
Right.
You know, Jehovah Jireh here, when we had a full team finally, and they did as well. We got to beat them here. So I knew we had a chance to do something special, and we were able to figure it out.
I'm sorry about that, Coach. My friend Willie texting me. I must be doing something wrong in the interview. He keeps calling me. Willie, I'm going to call you right back. One of my really big supporters. So, you guys, kid that I just adore. I talk to him quite frequently. Jordan Wright.
Yes.
He was your staple piece last year. How much have you enjoyed coaching Jordan Wright?
As much as any kid I've ever coached. I mean, he's, you know, my job, I felt like when he first came was, okay, here's a special talent. We know that. Is to show him, because see, a lot of coaches say, you know, it's my job to get it out of him. No. It's your job to show him how to get it out of himself. Okay. And so to push him every day and to make sure he realizes, man, you took the day off today. You just wasted your time. You know?
Right.
Because when that guy's engaged and involved, he's as good as there is. I think he's the best player in the state. Of course, I'm gonna think that I'm his coach. I think he's the best player in the state. Period. Okay.
Right.
I'll put him up against anybody. I don't care who it is. I think he's the guy. You put him, you know, because I've never seen a kid in high school under a minute in a close game more comfortable with the ball in his hands making plays. Okay.
Right.
Amazing stat last year. That guy, we statted under 2 minutes in a single digit game. Okay. He shot over 70% from the field.
Right.
Okay. Made the state championship game winning shot. We know that. Made a shot here against Madison Prep to tie it, put it in overtime.
Right.
We win the game. So, you know, everybody's got their deficiencies and their holes in their game for sure, and he's got a lot to work on. There's no question about that. But I think he's the guy. And so to watch him come full circle from a freshman, being our best player as a freshman, okay, but really kind of giving in to the older guys a little bit. And then as a sophomore, starting to take a little bit more control. And then last year, taking complete control, but also being willing to give up a little bit because of Otis, right? To coming in this year and last night playing against a team out of New Orleans, Lusher, who I think is a good team. And they're going to win some games.
They definitely, we talked about this before coming on air.
Yeah.
I said, I'm going to go in here, and it's going to be probably a game that's going to be hard to watch. You know, I'm thinking that you guys are going to beat them by 50, 60.
Yeah.
You have a great cast of players in Jordan Wright, Sal Wilson, Carlos Stewart. You got Deshaun Woods.
Ralph Davenport. Yeah. We got a heck of a group right now, no doubt.
So you have a point guard and you have a 2 guard that shoots lights out, and you have two of the best wings in the state on any team.
Yeah.
Like, as a guy that used to coach, I'm probably picking those guys first in Sal and Jordan.
Yeah.
What was last night like for you?
Well, it was interesting because, you know, I think we have a team full of combo guards. Deshaun's a pure point guard, okay?
Right.
But the rest of those guys are all combo guards.
Right.
Because, you know, at the next level, Sal Wilson's going to be a two, right?
Right.
I mean, Jordan Wright's going to be a 2, 3, can play the 1 if he needs to, right?
That's
Play
right.
whatever he wants to. So to watch it come full circle, to watch Jordan get in foul trouble last night,
Right.
and still not force anything when he was in the game. Just let the game come to him. I mean, he only had 9 points last night, and we put up 80, and we're up 30 when I take the starters out of the game with a couple minutes left.
Right, 148 it was.
Yeah, and so at that point, I'm like, wow. Not only are we very balanced and explosive, but we have a kid who's averaged 25 a game for the last 2 years, who is more than willing to share the wealth because he understands how much easier it's going to make life on him.
That's right.
So I think it was really impressive to watch.
You talked about how good it's been to Coach Jordan. You guys scrimmaged East Ascension during the summer at Madison Prep during their team camp. Guy I'd never seen before. It's 4 seconds left in the game. You guys get the ball on the other end of the court. You got to go the length of the court. Ball rotates, goes to a guy with goggles. And the clock is about to expire. That guy's Carlos Stewart. He shoots the ball. He didn't flinch. Bottom of the nets. This kid is a sophomore. Last night he led you second highest score. He had 21 points behind Woods, who had 22.
Yeah.
How good is Carlos Stewart going to be?
Carlos Stewart's going to be the best offensive player we've ever had. I think he's going to be one of the best offensive guards that the area has ever seen, because you're looking at him right now, and he's got other guys around him, right? That he's got to share it with.
Right.
But as far as a guy who at that age that can off the dribble stare you down and from 25 feet raise up over the top, it's just not the norm. And then he can go by, he can dunk it on your head, he can finish at the rim, he's a good free throw shooter, and not to mention, he is the ultimate definition of the word assassin, and he'll kill you to win a game. So
hey, I've seen him do 1 dribble pull-ups closely guarded. I've seen him do 2 dribble pull-ups closely guarded. I've seen him do shot fake blow by. Yep. And like you said, when he rises, don't get in his way, because you're probably going to get it. Yeah. How great can you guys be this season?
Of course, you knock on wood for health, right? But we're still missing a key guy, Ty Spurlock, who's on the football field right now. Right. We get him, put him in the mix. It's certainly the best 6 I've ever had. If we're willing to share it like we did last night and defend like we did in stints last night, that would be the one area that I felt like we were a little undisciplined at times. We do those things, and we have our small guards rebound the ball as well, along with Sal and Jordan, of course. We're going to be tough to beat because we're going to be difficult to guard, because we space you so much that and I just think with the number of guys that we have who shoot it, I can't imagine all 6 being off one night. It's going to be tough to do. So. And last night you're watching. We put on a clinic on the idea of penetrating kick, and they do share it. So, yeah, I mean, look, I want to play the best teams. I want to play Rayville. I want to play Scotlandville. I want to play Madison Prep. I want to play whoever. And I know we got the bracket to the Lake Charles tournament yesterday, and we got a heck of a road. Right.
So let's talk about that then, because starting at the end of the month at the showdown at the Lake, your first game was Scotlandville.
Well, we actually played Wasman.
Wasman?
And then if we were fortunate enough to win that, then Scotlandville could be in the next round.
Yeah, look, I was looking at something, looked like I saw the first game of Scotlandville. Yeah. So, you guys, same bracket, Scotlandville.
And Bossier.
Right, Bossier. Scotlandville, we're not going to... Coach Carlos is offensive genius, defensive specialist. He has Reese Beekman, guy that they're saying is the best player in 5A. Yep. Terrion Joseph. Yep. I can never remember this kid's name, but he's 6'6". He also wears goggles, and he's a monster in the paint.
He is. Plays
so
very physical.
They have a lot coming back, even though they lost Smart. Bossier has Dante Bell. They have guy that they're saying is, I think Bossier is 4A. Jacoby Decker. Yeah. Point guard.
Yep. He can shoot it now.
Can shoot it, can ball handle, can contribute the ball as well. How do you come out of that tournament alive?
Whew. I mean, the thing is, we're talking about those two teams, but they got to beat who they play first, right? So the amazing thing about what Coach Washington has put together is there are no gimmies throughout the tournament.
No.
Like, you're not going to, I mean, there's no guarantee that we play Scotlandville in the second round. Because first of all, there's no guarantee that we beat Wassman, right? And then there's no guarantee Scotlandville wins. There's no guarantee Bossier wins. So I'm just looking at the teams that I know a lot about, right? And, I mean, look, would it be nice to get to the finals and play whoever that is? If it's Rayville, great. If it's whoever else it is, great, okay? In order to get there, if you ever did something one game at a time, this tournament, you better play one game at a time.
Well, without a doubt, I don't want to go too much into it because, like I said, I'm about to go see Coach Washington as soon as I leave here, and I don't want to give any of his trade secrets away, but you guys have a really tough schedule. Immediately after the Hamilton Christian tournament, you got to turn right back around and play Scotlandville.
That's right. That's what we want to do. Look, if I could play Scotlandville 6 times a year, I'd do it.
I'm sure Coach I'm sure Coach Carlos Sample would not be opposed to that.
Probably not.
He loves playing the best competition as well. I'm going to ask you this, and this is going to be my very last question. How easy is it going to be for you guys to go 34-0 this year?
Not remotely easy. Ain't nothing easy about going in undefeated. We're just trying to go 2-0 on Thursday. Okay, so I think look, there's a lot of coaching cliches, and you can say it one game at a time, blah blah blah. But if you have a very difficult schedule, like we do,
right? And you guys have a difficult schedule.
You cannot look past anybody. I mean, De La Salle comes in here on Thursday, and they went to the Final Four last year, won state the year before. I mean, we went down there and beat them last year in a close game. They are fully expecting to come in here and get payback. So we're concerned about them right now. And then when we get to that December 4th game, we're playing Scotlandville. Trust me, we will put our full attention towards them. But the good thing about that game this year is they got to come here. So that's a better situation for us. We hope.
Right. So, Coach, man, your watch just lit up. And I got to see the time. I want to apologize to you.
All good.
It just flows so well, and I talk a lot. Everybody,
not you, man.
Everybody that know me know I talk too much. So forgive me for taking so much of your time, but thank you. Have a great season. You don't need luck when you prepare. So
true.
Have a great season. Go out and compete like I know you guys will. That's the only coach I've known is Jonathan Pixley, who's demanding and cares about his kids. So thank you. Remember, get off the bench, get into the game.
Appreciate you.